Right, I'm going to start them.
Alright, 20 seconds of silence.
From now, go. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Slydog Racing League. We are in Brazil and Canada this evening for rounds 20 and 21 of the championship as we get towards the end of this season. As always, I am joined by the one, the only, Adam Riley. How are we doing, buddy?
Damn straight you're joined by me, Tom. Yeah, all good here. Yeah, let's get this show on the road again. Just going to do my usual bits and pieces and set some thumbnails up. Exactly that.
Yeah, whilst Aaron is sorting out the detail as the brains of the operation, we'll just have a little recap from what was the madness of last week. So obviously last week Monaco, shortly followed by Russia. Monaco turned out to be not too eventful in the end. Obviously I think we've all been in a Monaco race that's not ended on best terms with everyone, but this was fairly straightforward for these guys. There wasn't any major incidents, I don't think. There was the only incident that sort of led to ramifications of this week. There was an incident in qualifying last week with Merciman and Simon Jr., and Merciman therefore will be suffering a qualifying ban for tonight's action.
Yeah, do you know what? The Monaco race really shocked me, to be fair. I thought we were going to see quite a few sort of people tripping over each other a little bit here and there, but it was surprising that we didn't have very many issues at all.
Everyone was very well behaved, weren't they?
I thought the same.
Yeah, no stupid moves. Everyone was so scared of putting that into a wall, but no, everyone behaved themselves there. And then it all instead kicked off at Russia.
But then again, like we said in Russia, there was some great racing in Russia. You know, we had some really good moves.
Yeah, it was fantastic to watch. It was just, I mean, I remember that last lap, and it was just absolute carnage for those 4 or 5, 6 drivers involved in the end. And yeah, hopefully we'll get something similar tonight, because we've got 2 great tracks coming up. We've got obviously 2 fast tracks, 2 relatively short tracks when it comes to lap time, so both sort of lapping around the 1 minute 10, 1 minute sort of 13 areas when it comes to the racing. We're familiar with Brazil, obviously, having raced it a couple of weeks back in the Thursday night league, and Canada we're going to be racing this Thursday, so again we've done a fair bit of practice on that already. Aaron, out of the 2, do you have a preferred?
No. Do you know what? I genuinely don't mind either of them. They're both sort of slightly different circuits. Brazil, you've got a lot more runoff. There's a lot more room for error in Brazil, I think. Obviously,
Sure.
Canada, you've got walls either side most of the way around, and the trouble is obviously like with Canada, to carry that sort of speed around the circuit, you've got to make the most of the width of the circuit. So staying close to those walls is a must. Which obviously adds that danger. So it's going to be exciting.
Absolutely. I think that we may even see a couple of guys push it a little bit too far this evening and ruin their race, but really hope that doesn't happen, even though I sounded really excited for it.
Deep down we do.
Yeah, deep down we want something spectacular to happen. Right, so just having a look at the championship standings. Obviously, as we discussed towards the end of last week's stream, the champion is already decided, and the Constructors' Championship is already a done deal. So we've got Granty Boy, who takes that crown in the Drivers' Championship. Again, well done to Granty Boy. And his Racing Point team, Racing Point partner Albert DeWitt, has also got himself a crown to be proud of as well there. So well done the guys on the Racing Point team. But that does not mean that we are done. We have plenty to decide still.
Oh god, yeah. Oh, it's there's a lot of exciting battles going on, as we said before the stream, Tom. You know, we've got NUFC fan Liam. He's right behind Chatty Duck. Chatty Duck can't make it tonight, so that really opens up the second place spot in the Drivers' Championship for Liam. Also, the 2 guys at Red Bull, not too far away from McLaren for that 3rd spot in the Constructors' Championship. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens there as well.
Absolutely. And again, the Constructors' Championship by no means a done deal for those sort of top four teams. You've got Red Bull, McLaren, and Mercedes all vying it out for the final two podium places there in that Constructors' Championship. Again, another close battle in the Drivers' Championship, Joe. Just having a little look. We've got James Punt and Wheeler, who were having a few good battles on track last week. I believe they came quite close to each other in the two races that we had last week, and led to some great battling on track between them. Only 8 points separating them at the moment, so that's going to be the battle for fifth and sixth in the Drivers' Championship. And we saw a bit of life from the Alfa Romeo guys a couple of weeks back, obviously sitting bottom of the Constructors' Championship, looking to prove a point and try and get one up on the Haas guys this evening. Obviously no one wanting to be bottom come the final week. So final week next week as well, we should mention. So final week of this season, that is. We will be back shortly after a couple of weeks, or so just a week off, and then we are straight back in to a new season and a new format as well when it comes to picking drivers, which we'll be eager to share at some point.
Yeah, I think the plan is, I think obviously next week, 22nd, we've got the final week, rounds 22, 23, Abu Dhabi and Bahrain short, and then following that, I believe we're going to have some form of like a media stream, where obviously all the new teams and drivers like that are paired will be announced, and then we've got an interleague race coming up on the 1st of March from 8 p.m, slightly earlier starting time, but that will be, I think that's with MRS Racing League, so that will be very, very interesting to check out as well. 10 drivers from Slydog against 10 drivers from MRS Racing, and we'll see. Obviously we'll be rooting for the Slydog boys, but you know.
Oh no, MRS still, no, joking. We were saying we want like a commentary battle with those guys as well. Like, where's their commentator?
100%, bring it on. Bring it on. We'll
you can talk the most crap for 2 hours.
You want some? We'll give it you.
Our very own Rude ceremony there.
They might have a bigger fan base than us, Tom.
They've got those fans, you know this.
Fair play. Fair play.
Right, so we're just waiting for the final lot of drivers to start getting readied up for this evening's action. Obviously we're qualifying at Brazil as it's the first race round, so we'll wait to finally get the go ahead from those guys. Aaron, you've had a day off today, plenty of time to mull over all the action from last night's racing at Daytona. Anything you'd like to share with us from that?
Boogity, 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 let's go racing, boys. It was a good race, to be fair. Apart from, there was a long weather delay. I think lap 15, there was a huge, as they like to call it over there, huge wreck of quite a multitude of cars. But no, it was.
You say that. What would we call it over here?
Shithousery.
I was waiting for you to come up with something. Then I put you under pressure and you delivered.
But no, it was a great race. You know, it was quite a long drawn out process. Unfortunately, I think it was about a 4-hour weather break they took due to storms and lightning and such. But no, it was a good evening.
Fantastic, a wonderful evening of turning to the left.
Yeah, exactly. I want to go fast.
Yeah, I want to go fast. Right, this session is about to get started, so we will be keeping an eye on the action on the track as and when it happens. Aaron, do we have interviews this week? We do. I think I'm going to get hold in just a second of NUFC fan Liam and his teammate Osborne in the Red Bulls. So we're going to have a chat with them and see how they're getting on. Both of which had great races last week. So yeah, loads of action for those guys in the Red Bulls. Not too much can be said about the drivers in terms of action. Action for those guys in the Red Bulls. Obviously, they've got a fair challenge on their hands tonight. We've got a McLaren team ahead of them by 33 points, or probably less than that. My maths is not great there. 33 points, I think. So certainly a doable gap to make up tonight. You know, it doesn't take much to steal a few points here and there, and they will be looking to do so and get themselves right in the mix coming into that final week of the Constructors' Championship fights. So, Brazil. I wouldn't say it's one of my favourite tracks out there, but it is a track that I've grown to love over the recent weeks there. So, thank you, Simon Jr. for the comments. Stuck it in early.
Exactly that. And I believe we're going to be joined now by Osborne and Liam right at the start of qualifying, just to really mess their session up, and and see how they're doing, see how they're getting on down there.
No worries. So I think we've got Osborne with us now. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Make yourself known. There we are, buddy. How you doing? You okay?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. Fantastic. So tell us, are you looking forward to the 2 tracks tonight, or is it a bit of a dread one for you?
I wouldn't say they're my favourite tracks, but I wouldn't say I don't like them either. I think they're just two tracks. I think everyone's going to be pretty quick round here.
How we doing?
Oh, he's here.
We have the
better late than never.
Right, we were just saying, how are you feeling about the 2 tracks tonight? Obviously, 2 quite different circuits. Are you looking forward to this, or a bit weary?
Brazil-wise, I've always put on all right round, but Osborne will tell you Canada's my favourite track, so I'm quite confident for a decent result around Canada.
You've done jinxed it now. That's it.
Yeah. Well,
what's going to happen now?
We spent a lot of time on Canada and doing like 1 lappers and 3 lappers all the time, and Osborne will tell you how many times I've won round Canada over 1,000 times.
Pretty good round there.
Sounds like someone's got an obsession with Canada. I like it.
Yeah.
So what sort
All
of
the champions?
from you guys, from your guys' perspective, then setups? Are you both sharing the same setup tonight, or are you going to go completely different from each other, race your own races? What's the plan here? Obviously, you're quite close now to McLaren in the Constructors' Championship, and obviously Liam, you're close behind Chatty Duck in the Drivers' Championship. So what's the plan?
For me, I tend to offer Osborne setups if he wants to use mine, but he tends to look for his own. So we kind of run our own setups, whatever works for us. He might require a bit more downforce or something like that, or to get those that corner in a bit better. But yeah, for me, it is quite tight between me and Chatty Duck, so I'm looking to try and just close that gap up now and trying to overtake him.
Yeah, team-wise, we want that 3rd spot in the Constructors. So yeah, beating McLaren, as long as one of us beats each McLaren, just sort of trying to gain as many points as we can on them and sort of take it to next week, the finale.
Yeah, and we're quite good anyway, because whoever's doing better on track, we kind of siege position, so there's no we don't fight each other on track.
Yeah, I mean, from where you guys are sitting at the moment, obviously, is the new guy in McLaren, Butler. He's back again this week. We saw him have a great race in Russia. Is he going to be a concern for you guys tonight?
Too early to say, really. Monaco, you can't judge somebody around Monaco. You're always going to have 9 out of 10 people are going to get damaged around there. But yeah, he did do well around Russia. Got on the podium, I think, didn't he? So should his pace around there. So yeah, we'll just.
He was our driver of the day around Russia. I mean, for a newbie, that was a pretty impressive performance for that guy around Russia. And you were saying about Monaco, that Monaco race. I mean, there wasn't much going on at all. Were you guys not surprised by that? Because we were expecting carnage.
Yeah. So was I starting at 18.
Yeah. Right, guys, we'll let you get on, because I've just realised we're taking up a fair bit of your time out this qualifying session.
That's all right.
You've got to put some laps in, so...
Alright, thank you so much.
Yeah,
nice
one.
Thanks for having us.
Catch up with you guys.
Alright, bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.
Take care. Brilliant to talk with the Red Bull guys there as they start to get ready for this session. We're already seeing half the field set laps, so fastest at the moment is the champion Ranty Boy, sitting a 1:07.6, followed shortly by James Pump, setting a 1:08.4. We've also happily got a Williams teammate as well tonight. Last couple of races we've been watching Mogi go round on his own as the only Williams driver, but he has someone backing him up this evening. Maybe that will help him sort of increase his points tally and give him a little bit of support in those races now.
Yeah, I mean, Mogi's been looking relatively consistent for every single race we've seen him in, and once again he was doing quite well in Monaco. So, by no means is he a slow driver. It's just nice to have, someone else to back him up. Obviously, they're chasing down the Alpha Tauris in the Constructors' Championship as well. Only a 13-point gap separate those two teams, so that'll be another exciting battle to see.
Just having a look at the timing screen there, so the gent we were just speaking about, these guys from Red Bull are going to be keeping an eye on him, as he's going to be one of their main competitors tonight. That's Butler, sets the second fastest time so far by 3/10 as well, so that's a 1:08.1 for Butler in the McLaren. And I was just watching him go around there, and he did manage to set a purple sector 2 as well, so looking very positive for the McLaren guys at the moment. Hopefully they can obviously keep that form going into the race.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, Butler looked really, really good around Russia, so it wouldn't surprise me if we see a very good result from him in Canada. But as well, Brazil, a quick circuit, and just having a quick look at him now, and he's looking consistent. He's got a nice line. Looks to have that car wrapped right round his little finger.
So one of the newcomers to the league then, that's Peter W. Or sorry, not newcomer, I think he's reserved, stepping in this week in the Mercedes, sets his first lap. That's a 1:09.3, very much sort of midfield lap at the moment, but again, good to see someone stepping in to take that seat and give us a full grid for the first time as well, which is another great experience.
And it would also seem like we have another driver stepping in very last minute. B Wheeler is obviously he's in his Renault. Had a great battle with him last Thursday. That was good fun. So shout out to him for that. Keeping me on my toes for about 15 laps. But we have racer number 6 in the other Renault. Obviously, Mercymen was due to serve a quali ban, but it looks like he can't make the race. So we've got racer number 6 all the way from the US of A stepping into that second seat in the Renault team.
Fantastic. He's at the bottom of the timing charts at the moment, but hopefully we can see him climb his way up there with a few laps under his belt. One of the drivers that we were keeping an eye on last week, Joseph Morados, who put in a great showing in Monaco, unfortunately to have a controller issue it seemed in the end, which put him out of that race, not out of the race, but in terms of the chance of getting the podium. He's just set the fourth fastest time so far. It's a 1:08.1. And also Rockstar, one of the new guys this week, stepping into the Haas team, another 1:08.1. So a bit of consistency going on there between the second, third and fourth drivers at the moment. Not much in it at all for those guys. So going to be an interesting close to this qualifying session once they can get back out on the track. We'll have a little look at some laps going on at the moment. So we've got Albert in the Racing Point, obviously the Constructors' Championship Racing Point, I should say, Constructors' Champions. Let's see if he can improve on his 1:08.7 at the moment. He's had a bit of a habit for trying to do some qualifying laps on mediums, I've noticed. He's on the softs at the moment, so he should be trying to improve on that time, and I think he's likely to at this rate. But we'll see where he ends up after this sector. He's gone 9/10 quicker at the moment, so he's looking like a big improvement. We'll wait for him to cross the line to see where this could put him, but this could shoot him all the way up to at least a sort of third or second row on the grid as he comes down that final straight, heading across the line, and he puts himself top. He puts himself pole at the moment. What a cracking lap there.
Puts himself pole, but we just dropping back to what you were just saying there, Tom, on the in regards to the medium tyres. Granty Boy's lap was set on medium tyres, so it must be some sort of a Racing Point thing.
That's it. Yeah, it's pure cheating from the Racing Point guys, I think. But yeah, as you say, Granty Boy's lap on mediums. I've also noticed that Rockstar on the Haas set his lap on the mediums. Now that's interesting, because this is obviously a gent that's fairly new to the league. Obviously we don't know what his pace is like, but if that's the case, he's sitting a 1:08.1 on the mediums. He's going to be in for a good shout, at least the front row position, I would say, if he can transform that pace over onto the softs. And we say that he has just popped the softs on, I believe, and looks like he may be coming out of the pits at some point fairly soon to go out for another run. So we'll keep an eye for when that happens.
In the meantime, just going to keep an eye on Granty Boy for a second as he heads round sector 2. Once again, looking quick, looking in control. Still out on those mediums.
Yeah, it's the same set of mediums as well, I believe, possibly. So let's see if he can improve. He has gone a 10th quicker there at the end of sector 2. So as he comes around this final bend and this long back straight here, in Brazil where you can just build speed. It's all about taking the right angle to minimise that distance to the line. Is he going to improve? And he is by just under a tenth. So it's not a massive improvement in terms of the advantage over Albert, but when you consider that he is just on the medium tyres, then yeah, it is a great feat that he's done there to take that pole position. So gents, we were talking to earlier, NUFC fan Liam, Red Bull puts himself in third at the moment with a 108.009, very quick lap there. We've got Mogi out on track at the moment as well, trying to improve on his time. He's currently up on his time, down on his time after the first sector, so we'll stick with him on this lap to see if he can get himself any higher up the grid currently. He heads around the twisty technical part of Sector 2 there. I mean, it's a nice track, it's very speedy, but you have got to be careful in that technical sector. Could quite easily put the power on too early and spin it off the track. Although there is a fair bit of runoff here, there is some barriers that can catch you out if you're not too cautious with it. So Mogi looks to have abandoned that lap, wasn't happy with what he was seeing there, so he's going to go in and have a little change of heart, I think. Rockstar, the job you mentioned earlier, has come back out to set a lap on the soft, so this will be interesting, considering his fastest lap so far, 108.1, was set on the mediums. So we'll keep an eye on that, although it looks like he may have just invalidated that time. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I was just looking at that on the track map there, Tom. It seemed like he might have just taken a bit too much of that apex. I think, yeah, he's just sort of...
a shame. He's abandoning that lap now. But he's going to have plenty of time, it seems, to get back to the pits and swing on a new set of soft tyres, or he may just go straight away for another lap on this set. We'll have a look at that in a second once he makes his way back down.
One disqualification from the session as well there. Just a note, Simon Jr. has been disqualified for the session. Not quite sure what happened there. Whether that might have been some contact somewhere. No, I didn't quite catch that bit. Didn't catch that bit. I feel like Chris Kamara now.
I don't know, Jeff, what's that?
I thought they were just making a sub.
Yeah, bloody horrendous that. Right, James Punt has just set a quick sector 2. I think I saw a flash of purple there on the track map, so we'll stick with him as he heads across the line, currently in 9th. What can he do to get himself up the order? Let's see where he'll end up. He puts himself 3rd. Fantastic lap there from James Punt, and he's cracking that 108 barrier as well, so brilliant lap there from the Mercedes driver. We've got Lawson, who's currently in 5th place. Looks like he's probably on a cool-down lap, actually. He's just invalidated that, so we'll move away from him there. Butler, the McLaren, who's just set off on a flyer, just gone a couple of hundredths quicker there through Sector 1. Again, a cracking lap there, first time out from Butler, a 108.1. But now these guys are starting to break that 108 barrier. He's going to need to pull something out the bag to get himself at least on the second road there.
Okay, I have information based on Simon Jr.'s disqualification. He said that he wasn't looking and went straight on at the end of the pit lane and got disqualified. So, that'll
do it.
That will do it. I think eyes are quite handy when you're driving an F1 car.
You do need some eyes.
It's not very often I see Stevie Wonder driving his F1 car, but...
Oh, that's harsh. But no, never mind. I'm sure Simon will be eager to make that up in the race, and he's going to be fighting for at least to get to 10th for that reverse grid pole for the next race. So the guy we were just keeping an eye on, Butler, we were saying he's going to need to break that 108 barrier. He's just gone and done it. He's 107.8 at the moment. Puts himself 3rd on the grid. So a brilliant fight forming there between the McLaren, Mercedes and Red Bull. So you've got Butler, James Punt and NUFC fan Liam, 3rd, 4th and 5th at the moment. That is going to be one tasty prospect.
Yum, yum, yum.
Race upcoming. Yum, 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 indeed. Right, a lot of guys at the moment just in the pits, obviously getting ready for their final runs, I reckon. Track's going to become very busy in a second once they all get out, I think. Let's have a look. Who should we take a look at going round?
I'm just taking... Yeah, so I'm just keeping an eye on Osborne at the moment because he's setting another flyer. He's just set a 108.4, which puts him above the second McLaren of Trem. Looking at the way that table's lining up at the moment, you've got the McLaren of Butler and NUFC fan Liam running fairly close together, and likewise with Osborne and Trem, so that will make for an interesting race as far as the Constructors' Championship goes.
Absolutely. So Osborne abandoned that lap, wasn't quite happy with what he was seeing, and I was just watching the back end of of his car for that lap there. It did look like he was really struggling to keep that under control there. And again, it's a track that's difficult to gauge your setup on because you do need a lot of straight line speed. You've got the long DRS zone across the start finish line. You've also got the back straight in sector 1 where you need to keep that speed. But you do need to be controlled because there's a lot of tight turns around here. You do need to try and keep it all under control. We'll take a look at Mogi as he comes across the line here. Is he going to get himself any further up? He is. He's going to get himself up to 5th. So he is spoiling that Mercedes, McLaren and Red Bull party at the moment, putting himself 5th on the grid. A brilliant lap there from the Williams driver. Let's have a look who else is out. Albert looks to be out to see if he can snatch pole from Granty Boy. He's got a little bit of work to make up there in the final sector. We'll watch him as he tries to close in on that time. He's going to cross the line and he's going to stay second. Doesn't look like he's improved on his time there. So good effort there from Albert, but work to do if he wants to be taking that pole position from Granty Boy. Let's have a little look further down the order. So one of the main contenders that we thought for last week, Joseph Morales, looks to be off on a flyer at the moment. He's just gone through sector 1 a couple of hundredths slower than his quickest lap at the moment, so work to do if he wants to get himself up the order for the start of this race. We've also got Wheeler in the Renault, who is looking to be setting a lap to try and get himself into that top 10, currently sitting 11th with his fastest time of a 1:08.2. So work to do for the Renault there. So you were having a good couple of battles there with Wheeler last week in the Thursday Night League. I forgot to ask, who won that out of the two of you? Were you ahead? Or?
I thought I had it in the bag, if I'm honest with you, Tom. I thought I had it in the bag, and then I got a bit excited with the loud pedal, and just shortly after we were doing Bahrain short, so turn 1, Bahrain shorts, hairpin right, put a little bit too much down on the exit and just kicked the car around a bit too much. Unfortunately, just let him get away a bit too much. But I must admit, we had an absolutely brilliant battle there. Nice clean racing for, like I say, from lap 13 to I think about how many laps was that around Bahrain? Was it 36? I think it was about 36, isn't it? So it was from about lap 13 up to 35. We were really going at it. So that was we were going at it more than NUFC fan Liam anyway. It was good fun.
Absolutely, yeah. Need to sling that one in there. That's what she said. Joseph Morales, we were just talking about him. Obviously, as a main contender from last week, he's just put himself onto the second row of the grid with a third place 1:07.7.
And we see
a very quick lap there from the Ferrari driver.
Oh, just as we talk about
there this week as well.
Sorry, Tom. Just as we talk about B Wheeler, I've just seen him just take himself off in sector 2. Looks like that was. Probably around turn 8, 9 sort of mark, which, this is the thing with this circuit. Some of those corners really can catch you out. You just put a little bit too much down and next thing you know, catch the grass and it could be game over quite quickly. So that's ruined his lap there, which is a big shame.
We've got a lot of the field still out there trying to set their fastest laps. Rockstar in the Haas, who we were looking at early on in the session and saying how impressed we were with his medium lap, he's now trying to set a faster lap on the softs. Looks like he's about 3/10 up there on his quickest time at the moment, so this could be a very quick lap indeed. We'll keep an eye on him as he crosses the line here, see what he can do on his first outing in the Slydog Racing League, and he sets a 1:07.7, blasting his way to the second row of the grid. Fantastic work there from the Haas driver, and it's going to do wonders for them in the Haas team if they can keep that position in the race. Obviously sitting second last in the Constructors' Championship, desperate for any sort of points, and that is going to be a great asset to them. As we look a little bit down the order then, so it looks like most of the drivers have set their laps and we have come towards the end of this session. We're just waiting for... I can't see anyone else out there. I don't know if it's the same for you, Aaron?
Nope, that is the end of the session. I think that is the end of the session. Just a note, Granty Boy did set another fastest lap right at the end of that session, a 1:06.7. So, just going to show how quick he really is. But I'm going to use this opportunity right here just to plug the channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notifications button for a notification every Monday when we're live.
been desperate to say that, haven't you?
I love it.
Really, really sort of itching to say hit that notification button.
Been practicing it all day.
Was it satisfying?
It was
Yeah,
quite
you
satisfying,
had
Tom.
nothing else to do, so.
It was quite satisfying.
Fantastic.
Just got to put that out there. You know, content pretty much every day of the week at the moment, with highlights, videos, and interviews. So people get to listen to us chat bollocks every single day if they want to.
Yeah, man. Fun never stops here. Right, so just take a look at the final grid then. We'll take a look at the top 3 because the session's actually about to end and I didn't talk about it quick enough.
But we've got
but Granty Boy, Albert and Joseph Morados setting the 3 fastest times there. No surprise to see the racing points up there, but fantastic to see Rockstar in the Haas bagging himself that 4th position.
Yep, fifth place once again. 5th place, another newbie, Butler, taking that 5th position, followed by James Punt, and just behind Bunty, you've got Mogi and NUFC fan Liam in the Red Bull. Lawson and newcomer Peter in the other Mercedes round out the top 10.
Fantastic, yeah, strong outing there from the newcomers in this Brazil race. So as we're just starting to get ready here for the start of this race, we know that the first turn can be a bit messy. When it comes to Brazil, obviously quite a narrow bit of track there, those sort of centre S's, and we've seen plenty of action happen there in the past. Hopefully we don't get anything too major. We don't want to see anyone's races ruined. We don't want to see anyone out on the first lap, but we want to see some fighting. We want to see some jostling for position. Some friendly fighting would be nice. Yeah. Hopefully nothing too major, as I say, as these guys make their way round for the formation lap. So we'll just try and get a little look then to see what tyres these guys are on to start the race. The majority obviously on the softs from qualifying. We do have ZGS and Tren who are on the medium strategy, so that would be the reverse strategy for this one, to see if they can get any sort of advantage over the guys ahead of them by going on that reverse strategy. Again, not too sure if there's going to be much of an advantage from if you're starting sort of 15th back, but again, it's their choice, and we'll see where that takes them. Weather looking okay. I didn't see any. It looked a bit cloudy in Interlagos and Sao Paulo, but hopefully no rain for these guys. We'll save the rain for Canada maybe.
That could make for an exciting race.
Oh, Canada. Oh yes.
Exactly. So obviously, like we said, Tom, just watching down into turn 1, I think is going to be where we're going to see a lot of action. I think from when we raced it a couple of weeks ago, the key for the start here is just trying to stick to your line, maybe not making too much movement off the start there, just sticking. If you're on the outside of the grid, stick to it and just follow in, hope for the best. You don't want to be the one to cause a pile up, really.
Absolutely, everyone wanting to take responsibility for their actions, and no one wants to be that guy that's ruined someone else's race. So hopefully nothing major does happen here as the drivers start to form up for this grid. So just to run you through the order again, we've got Granty Boy on pole, Albert, his teammate, second. Second row made up of the Ferrari of Joseph Morados and Rockstar in the Haas, and we'll just go around the third one, which is Butler in the McLaren, joined by James Punt in the Mercedes. As these drivers start to get ready now, just ride on board with Granty Boy for a second just to see these lights. So lights are on, 3, 4, 5, and lights out, and we are away here at Interlagos.
Boogity.
Let's go racing. Right, first turn then. So it looks to all be tidy at the moment. We'll keep an eye on everyone as they come through. No major incidents that I can see at the moment. Everyone's still facing the right way, which is a bonus. A fair bit of ghosting going on, but nothing major to report at the moment. We've got someone quite far off the track at the top there. I think that may have been the Alpha Tauri of Lawson. Not too sure as the whole grid just starts to change there. Couple of positions gained there for Butler off the start. He's found himself in third position at the moment. It's a great start there for the McLaren drivers. They're making their way around this first lap. Also a brilliant start from Lanod Cam. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to get that wrong. Lanod Cam in the Williams there, getting himself up 3 places at the start of this race. I said there may have been an issue with Lawson. He's found himself in last place at the moment, so we'll try and maybe watch that back at some point and try and see what's happened there. but it looks to be a dreadful start for the AlphaTauri as we make our way around this first lap. Looking at the battle for the best of the rest in the Constructors' Championship, it looks like Butler and the McLaren has given himself the best chance, and NUFC fan Liam and James Punt in the Red Bull and the Mercedes look to have stayed roughly where they are. James Punt dropping a couple of places on that first lap.
And we see a couple dive
Rockstar
into the pits. Sorry, Tom.
Yeah.
We see Peter in the Mercedes and B Wheeler in that Renault diving into the pits with potentially a little bit of damage. Are we going to see a front? We're going to see a front wing change for Wheeler, slinging on some medium tyres as well. So obviously he's going to try and do the duration now, and so is Peter as well. So unfortunate first lap for those guys, but we'll see what they can do from here.
Just keep an eye on this battle that seems between Joseph Marados and Butler. So a move that we just missed there really from Joseph Marados and Butler. Apologies for not getting that one on there, but Joseph Marados has stolen third position. We'll keep an eye on the guys behind them as well, because there's a fairly tight train of cars that are going through that second sector at the moment with Rockstar looking to get into the battle there, get into fourth place and take that from Butler at the moment.
Yeah, Rockstar in that Haas is looking really, really quick at the moment, to be fair. Which is nice to see. You know, it's good to see these guys really going for it. And Mogi as well, not very far behind. You just keep an eye on that Williams of Mogi. Just a shout out to him, as we do most weeks, running in 6th, but just 0.3, 0.4 of a second off the back of Rockstar. So this is getting, like we said, Tom, tasty.
It's a tasty start, and hopefully it'll be a tasty rest of the race as well. So the drivers all still very close together as we head round to lap 3 here at Interlagos. No major incidents that we could see that warrant talking about at the moment. We've got another 2 drivers dive into the pits, Simon Jr. and Willis dive into the pits there. Not too sure again if that's strategy or potentially damage related, but we'll try and see what happened there a bit later on. So biggest winner from the start, we've got Trem in 12th place, up 5 positions from his 17th place start. So a good start there for the McLaren driver, one of the drivers that we saw on the medium tyre option rather than the softs to start this race. He'll probably be looking to gain as much time as he can whilst he's on that medium tyre.
So yeah,
to extend that stint as long as possible.
All of a sudden, this strategy could be working out very well for him. You know, he's going to go onto that soft tyre. If he can stick with the rest of the pack on those mediums, then he'll be going on.
Side-by-side action, and Rockstar has spun it into turn 1, having a little side-by-side action with Mogi there. So very unfortunate for the Haas driver. He was looking so pacey at the top of the order there. There is a penalty been dished out as well to Joseph Marados. I don't think that has anything to do with the incident that we just saw, as I say, he was side by side with the Williams of Mogi. So just getting a little bit too close, it seems. Maybe a slight bit of contact, or maybe it was just an overestimation there from Rockstar. But he spins it into turn 1 and knocks himself down, unfortunately, to 12th place. So what looked like a dream start to his Slydog racing career has turned out to be a bit of a nightmare at the moment. Plenty of work to do though. We're only on lap 14. He can certainly bring it back with the pace that he was showing in qualifying.
I'm looking forward to this next battle we've got coming up. It sizes itself up to be really, really good fun here. You've got Albert just 0.4 of a second off of teammate Granty Boy, Joseph Marados close in on that, and then Butler in that McLaren 0.2 of a second off the gearbox of Joseph Marados. So this could get really exciting over the next couple of laps.
Yeah, just keep an eye on these guys as they go through those first set of turns there. A brilliant train of cars, and it's brilliant to see these guys catching up to the top 2 as well. It looked for a second that they were going to pull away as we see Albert make a move for the lead there going into that turn 4. So fantastic move there from Albert to take the lead over his championship teammate, Granty Boy. And let's see how long he can keep that lead for, because I think these two are just going to keep going at each other. They've got nothing to lose. There's no sort of team orders here. They can crash and do whatever they want. It doesn't matter. They're already champions. So let's hope it makes some interesting racing. You can see from my view as well at the moment, Joseph Marados hot on the heels of Granty Boy, trying to get himself in on this conversation, although he's looked to have pulled back a little bit there, coming around this final sector. So we'll ride on board with Joseph Marados then as he heads down this final straight. He's got Butler hot on the heels. Butler, I think, is going to have the DRS, as does Joseph Marados, so no issues there for those guys in keeping pace.
Yeah, I think that
within a second.
that might be one of the partial reasons as to why Joseph Mirados has dropped slightly back from Granty and Albert, is maybe that pressure from Butler just forcing him to go on a little bit more defensive side of things.
Absolutely.
You know, we know the Racing Point guys of Albert and Granty Boy, they said a couple of weeks ago, you know, they don't race each other, but I think this might be an exception. I think they're going to have a good time now, so it'll be great to see these guys go at it.
There's no point not racing each other. You know, they're not paying the bill if they crash. Let them have it.
Let them have it.
Right, and they are having a good go at it as they head round Sector 2 here. Very close wing to rear action from the two Racing Point guys, and they're constantly having a look every single turn. Eager to get back ahead is Granty Boy and start to pull away, I should think, and build up a lead over his teammate. But no, Albert being very stubborn there and keeping his place. Rightfully so as well. He's earned taking that first place from Granty Boy. That is no mean feat to overtake the championship contender. As they head down this back straight though, Granty Boy going to have the DRS over Albert It doesn't look like it's going to be enough for him to get the move done though, so they will stay this way, it seems, for at least the first part of this lap. Just keep an eye on the guys behind as well, of course. We've got a brilliant battle going on there with the four guys behind. That's Joseph Mirados, Butler, Mogi and NUFC fan Liam, all very close within each other and all pulling each other around this track at the moment. Bear in mind that Joseph Mirados does have a penalty as well to keep an eye on. What was that penalty? Let's have a little look.
I believe that was track limits, 3 seconds, I want to say.
3 seconds, yeah, so track limit penalty for Joseph Mirados, which is going to be compromising him at the end unless he can start to pull away from those guys and could knock him down to the bottom of that little order of cars there. There is a noticeable gap forming though between 6th and 7th place. James Punt in the Mercedes not quite able to keep up the pace with the top 6 guys at the moment. So he's got work to do to get himself into the mix here.
Yeah, but once again we see Osborne, the second of the Red Bull guys, going great guns there. 6 positions gained. 2 seconds off James Punt, so it'll be interesting to see if he closes.
Sorry, just an overtake at the top there. Granty Boy has taken first position back now, but do it down that main straight. I'm assuming with the DRS assistance that he's able to get that done. But again, I don't think Albert's going to be giving that up easily, as he himself has DRS coming down this back straight of Sector 1. Will he try and make a move at this turn? No, he's just too far off at the moment, but we could see something happen on the main straight again. Exciting stuff between the two Racing Point drivers here. It's great to see two of the top drivers going at it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sort of trying to sift my way through the field as well, just to see what else is going on. And looking back at Wolsey and his Alfa Romeo, up 8 places from the start, so that's a great start from him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I say start, we're sort of, midway through the race now.
We are midway through, exactly, yeah. This race has gone quick. It's a very quick circuit here. And it's only 18 laps, obviously just over a minute a lap. So, yeah, it doesn't take long to certainly get through it. It's certainly gone away from us quickly. Again, just looking further down the order, Osborne is in with a good shout here of driver of the day, currently up 6 places to put himself into 8th. Let's see if he can get himself anywhere near the Mercedes of James Punt. So we see the first of the front runners start to pit then, so Albert DeWitt heads into the pits, I'm assuming to get onto those medium tyres. We always see a shake-up here, any sort of undercutting going on between these top 6 guys. We'll see if it pays to come in first.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting strategy what the guys at Racing Point there have done. They brought Albert DeWitt in. There's a bit more of a gap between Mirados and Granty, which will potentially put Mirados on the defensive from Butler, who's only 0.7 of a second behind. So, advantage Butler on the DRS zones. So that'll make things interesting and potentially allow Granty to increase his lead a little bit there, and obviously keep those guys, from a strategic point of view, in a 1-2 position.
Absolutely, yeah. Looking like a solid race so far for these Racing Point guys. Granty Boy now with a good 2.5 second lead built up over the Ferrari of Joseph Mirados. And again, once everyone has pitted, it'll be interesting to see where those two come out, Granty Boy and Albert. Will he be able to get the undercut on him and take away that first position? So majority of the top guys now jumping into the pit, so we're going to see that shake up between the top 5, except Granty Boy is still out and still happy to extend on those soft tyres, so still feels he has the pace at this stage to still be doing doing the stuff that he needs to do to keep himself in this race and keep himself competitive. So he's now got a 17-second lead built up over Osborne, who's also yet to pit, and again benefited from not pitting yet. Trem moves himself up to third temporarily. Needs to get in the pits at some point today to get those medium tyres off. But obviously he can go a bit longer than most because he is on that medium set of tyres.
And equally, Osborne, another driver that is yet to pit, so he'll be looking to potentially pit at the same sort of time as Trem. Except
race control there, just awarding, a 3-second penalty to Albert DeWitt. So that is going to be a big factor in this race come the end. Obviously Albert was running in second just before he pit there, and would be looking to take that position back once everyone else has pit. Although we say that, and Butler has also pit, and he's come out in front of Albert, so not the best of times there for Albert DeWitt, as he now finds himself behind Butler and Joseph Morados, who were in that little group of cars that were just behind the racing point there originally.
Yeah, I think Morados has timed his pit stop really well there, to be fair to him, and he's got that 3-second gap at the moment, which will take up that penalty. So let's just see how well he holds on to this.
There was a brilliant bit of McLaren on McLaren action there that I think we might have missed because the cameras were a little bit all over the place, so apologies for that. But Butler seems to have taken the place from his teammate Trem. Although Trem... Butler and Joseph Morados, going side by side into turn 4 there. Butler sticks it on the inside and does take that second position. So brilliant racing from these two guys here. We'll keep on board with this because it's fantastic between the two of them there. Again, two fairly newcomers to this league going at it, and Butler just showing exactly why he deserved that driver of the day last week, putting in a very strong performance here already in Interlagos. So sitting in second with Joseph Morados on his heels. We'll see if he can keep this together on that back straight when Joseph Morados is going to be having the DRS assistance, and Butler's going to have to do some staunch defending here to make sure he doesn't lose that position. He's opened up a nice gap there as they come on to the straight, as they now start to approach top speed. We'll see if Joseph Morados is going to have the length to get this done on this turn. It's going to be tight. They're side by side as they head into that first turn, but it looks like Butler again is going to be able to stick it and keep him at bay, although there is another DRS zone coming up for these guys. Again, side by side down that back straight, but Joseph Morados with that DRS is going to be taking second position back from Butler. So well played there from Joseph Morados, just biding his time and waiting for the right moment to strike.
Yeah, a great bit of racing there from him. You know, he's just being patient, waiting for that moment, not making any silly moves there. Driving a really, really nice race. Obviously, Butler, from his perspective, he's going to know that Morados has got potentially a 3-second penalty. So, you know, it'll be for him. He'll just, you know, stick behind him and stay within that 3 seconds. And
I say that as Butler just had a little bit of a wobbler there, costing him a little bit of time. And already you can see that the gap between them has opened up to 0.8 of a second between Morados and Butler. So, bit of a worry there for Butler if he's going to have any more of those moments. And more importantly, Joseph Morados pulls himself a second out in front of Butler. Let's see if he can keep that second gap as they head round this track to pull him out with the RS zone.
I'm just going to ride on board as well with Mogi at the moment. Just having a look at him. He's absolutely flying. He's right behind Butler there. So that'll be a good watch to see. You know, see what the pressure does for Butler. You know, we saw him looking very, very dominant last week in Russia, but it'll be interesting to see him with a bit of pressure behind him. So.
Absolutely, yeah. Mogi doing very well to keep hot on the heels of the McLaren there. Got to about within 2/10, I believe, in the first sector there. So very close. We'll keep an eye on that as they make their way round into the final sector, because that's where the action seems to be happening. Final sector and beginning of the first sector of that first turn. So all the penalties being dished out at the moment. Over half the field now have some sort of penalty for one reason or another. So just need to keep an eye on that for the end of the race. Obviously the order may change quite drastically by the end of the race, depending on how these penalties go.
And I can also confirm that most drivers have been in for their stop, all bar racer number 6 at the back in that second Renault. But Trem has also made his stop.
In the pits as we speak.
Oh, wonderful! Every single driver has made their pit stop, Tom. Oh, I put that out there.
Glad we've got that out of the way. Fantastic.
But
right, Mogi gets himself a 3-second time penalty, as does Butler as well, I've just noticed. So that is going to even things up in terms of the order for the front couple of drivers there. You've now got everyone from positions 2 to 6 with some sort of penalty. I believe that's all 3 seconds at the moment. So at the moment, if you're Butters, 12 seconds off the pace, a fair bit of time to make up, but I don't think it's going to happen with the amount of laps we've got left. But you're at least a little bit encouraged by that. But yeah, everyone cancelling each other out for penalties there. Just keep on the track, guys. That's all you got to do. Keep on the track, and you could have jumped up to second, but never mind. It's not to be today.
not quite, but it's nice, tight racing. This is what we're...
very tight. We've also got Albert DeWitt now getting back in on the party with NUFC family and very hot on the heels. It looks like NUFC family is probably going to be in the best position to try and make a move here with the smallest gap between himself and Albert DeWitt. We'll follow him down this main straight as NUFC family and pulls out to try and take the inside line. Is he going to be late on the brakes? No, he's not. He's going to tuck back in there and not cause any problems. He's just going to play it safe, it seems.
Yeah, I think he got it. Sort of the move almost got cancelled out by the fact that it's sort of a bit of a DRS train that's going on at the moment. So that DRS that he did have is sort of been cancelled out by Albert's DRS in front of him. So
strong pull-out game from Liam there as well. Well done, buddy. Just having another look at Mogi as he's hot on the heels of Butler. So again, we've been mentioning his name all night. And it's because he's doing well. He's really keeping up with the McLaren there and really making this an interesting fight all the way to the end. So we've got just over the 3 laps to go, 3.5 laps to go in fact, as we head down these final moments of the Interlagos circuit. Granty Boy has now established an 8-second lead, so that looks to be a done deal for him at the front. But there is still plenty to be decided and possibly some late action here for that third position.
yeah,
Joseph Morados again pulled up in a nice gap now, it seems, between Butler.
yeah. I think Granty Boy obviously he's opened up that lead, but he's also on fresher tyres. His mediums are only 3 laps old as we speak, so it's looking very, very good for him at the moment. He's just got to keep it on the black bit, and I'm sure he'll be able to do that, no problem.
Absolutely. So Mogi looks to be the closest at the moment from troubling Butler, and he's certainly putting more and more pressure as we get further into this race. Just on that back straight there, he looked like he was eager to try and pull a move off, but he knows he was just too far away. Maybe he can get himself in range on this lap to try and pull something spectacular out the bag here in the final 2 laps. As we watch Albert DeWitt very late on the brakes there into that turn, almost having a look at the outside of Mogi, but deciding that's better off left for another day.
And if we just flick,
again, not really got anything to lose. Go on.
flick to the back of the field, 18th position, B Wheeler is looking like he's about to make the move in the DRS zone down the start finish straight on ZGS. As they come around past pit wall, I think he's going to get the move done. Yes, he is, going down into turn 1.
Fantastic. So the Renault guys again just trying to salvage what's left of this race, sitting 17th and 20th. Plenty of work for those guys to do. We'll keep an eye on it then. So Mogi has the DRS on Butler, and it looks like he is going to get side by side with him into turn 1. It's very tight, and we've just seen the identical spin between Mogi and Rockstar, but this time Mogi is on the worst end there. Gutting.
What a shame! What a shame that is.
Because that was, we knew it was going to come to a head at some point. They were getting closer and closer every single lap, but unfortunately, it is Mogi who loses out in the end, putting himself on that inside line. So again, maybe need to keep an eye on that for the race reports. I'm not sure if something's going to be said, but it looks to just be a racing incident. Those guys going at it. So fine the margins here for error.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was just a bit of a mess going into turn 1 there, ever so slightly. I was still sort of keeping an eye on ZGS and B Wheeler having a great battle at the rear end of the field. Very much the same scenario again. B Wheeler's going to be trying to get that DRS overtake on ZGS. Can't quite do it as they head down into turn 1. So he's going to stick with him, and as we see Granty Boy just coming up behind the pair of them, just going for that overlap. Second DRS zone for B Wheeler. He's going to try and get the move done again. ZGS moving over on the defence, and B Wheeler sits in behind. So I think he'll probably be waiting round until the final corner down into that final run.
We're on the final lap now, so we're going to have a look at this close battle going on between NUFC fan Liam and Albert DeWitt. I have just noticed that Albert has got himself 8 seconds worth of penalties compared to his teammates there. not teammates, sorry, fellow racers, sorry, I should say, at the front of the pack. They're all sitting on 3. So Albert DeWitt looking to drop down this order once we're all said and done in this race, unfortunately. NUFC family and having a very good look at the rear, though, to see if he can get in there and cause any trouble on this final race. Final lap, I should say. 4/10 off at the moment. He's going to be coming round this final turn with a very good chance on the DRS. This could be very much sort of Pierre Gasly, Lewis Hamilton-esque as they come across the line here. Will it be that close? We'll wait and see. The Granty boy does take the lead. Fantastic drive from him in the end. We'll keep on board with NUFC fan Liam. Butler seems to be having an issue. Butler, I think, may be on low fuel because he's just dropped himself out of the podium.
Dropped right down. What a shame.
What a disaster. So that completely bypassed us. It looked like he was maybe on low fuel mode or something. But fantastic news. If your name is NUFC fan Liam, you just bagged the podium, buddy. Just out of nowhere like that. So Persistent stayed off. He was behind Albert DeWitt on that last lap, or maybe he got the move done. I didn't see in the end, so I was focused on the drastic drop back for Butler.
Just
but fantastic work there to get that podium position. Such a shame for the McLaren driver.
I'm just having a look at the telemetry on Butler's car, and it does look like he unfortunately his fuel light was on there as he crosses the line. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was low fuel mode that just caught him out moments before the line. Such a shame.
That's gutting. That really is gutting because he was having such a good race. There was a couple of incidents he was involved. That was that spin with Mogi, but for the most part, it was a solid drive, solid qualifying, and looked like he was a dead cert for that third position on that final lap. Just a slight misjudgment on the fuel there. But that's what it takes. That's what happens when you're driving on the limit. So we've got to ask the question. Obviously, it's just popped up on the screen for me. The games driver of the day. I'm going to wait for the final results to come up here before I make my decision. But Aaron, driver of the day, who you got, buddy?
It's a tough one, isn't it? It's a real tough one because it was a race that was sort of very much, there wasn't huge amounts of overtakes. There wasn't many positions gained, but there was just some great driving at points. Do you know what I mean? It was the racecraft more than positions gained for me in that race. So I'm torn, really. I'm torn.
I'm looking at NUFC fan Liam for both of that, really. A solid drive all the way along to be following that train of cars all the way up until the end, and then obviously capitalising on the mistakes of Albert DeWitt with the penalties, the mistake with Butler misjudging the fuel to put himself from 8th on the grid to 3rd. For me, I think that warrants the driver of the day.
Do you know what? I would be inclined to agree with you, Tom. I think if there was someone I was going to give it to, it would probably be an UFC fan Liam. A great patient drive from him, consistently keeping on the back end of Albert DeWitt as well. I think he deserves it. So, doing bits for himself and his team in the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship. He's going to bag a lot of points for that, so that could make for a very interesting next finale. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So, just recapping the top 10 order there. So, we've got Granty Boy Morados, NUFC fan Liam, Butler, Albert DeWitt, Mogi, who had the spin late on there. Such a shame from him because he looked like he was challenging for that podium position. Butters, James Punt, Peter, one of the newcomers from this week, and your reverse grid pole sits with Osborne in the Red Bull. So plenty of action yet to come this evening as we head into Canada. Right, I think, are we going to take a little break there, Aaron?
I'm not too sure. I'm just going to be asking Trem that very question.
Well, I personally am going to take a little break because if I don't do that, we might have a little accident on the sofa, if you know what I mean.
Oh, mate, you don't want to do that. I had an accident last week on the table runner.
The table runner.
So
how's that going, buddy?
well,
Did you find out?
I'm going to leave that for a reveal towards the end of the stream. We're going to take a very, very quick break. Trem has given it the go-ahead. So, Tom, you visit the little boy's room. And I won't come hold it for you. But I'm also going to take a break. So.
We'll save that for work, yeah?
Yeah, no worries, mate.
All right, mate. See you in a bit.
See you in a bit.
We are back. Don't worry.
Oh, that was close.
It was close. We almost missed it, though, didn't we? I say we, because you with that full.
Yeah, well, you know, these things
Right,
happen.
Canada.
Right.
Canada.
Where do we start?
Where do we start? I mean, let's digest that last race. So, I mean, plenty of action going on towards the end there. Obviously, heartbreak for Butler. Would have wanted to capitalise on a great drive with a podium, but it just wasn't to be for him.
And equally heartbreak there for Mogi. I think looking at the chat with the drivers there after that race, Mogi just thought there was the perfect opportunity. They just thought there was that little bit of room going into turn one, and unfortunately, I think it was just Butler maybe just missighting him in the rear. So we'll see what comes of that. But anyway, just going to quickly before the race starts, go over the spillage incident from last week.
You need to clarify.
Clarification. So obviously, following the pre-race or post-race incident, it cost me a table runner.
Ooh.
It cost me.
Full on, not even cleaning, like brand new one.
Brand new one, mate. Brand new one. Unfortunately, turns out Guinness does leave a bit of a brown stain. So the pretty little white pattern ended up having a little bit of a brown stain on it. I didn't think she was going to notice, but turns out she did.
You didn't think she was going to notice until she noticed. Yeah.
That's the way it went, mate. I thought I'd gotten away with it. She walked into the living room and went quiet for a split second, and at that moment I knew it had all gone tits up.
You done fucked.
Yes, exactly that. Exactly that. Something else to look at. Gives us something to shop for in these pressing times, and gives me a new runner to mess up in a couple of weeks. So that'll be exciting.
Are you saying that you've done her a favour by giving her something else to shop for?
Yeah, I think I'd like to take the positives from the situation, silver linings and all that.
It's a fantastic way of looking at it. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
You've really shown me how not to say stuff live on a stream about your girlfriend. Fantastic. Well done, mate.
I'm sure she'll love it. She probably won't watch for as long as we've been streaming for, so that's absolutely fine. But just quickly darting back to the race at hand in Canada, we see the reverse grid, so that puts Osborne in the Red Bull on pole position for this race, followed by two of the Mercedes cars, Peter and James Punt. Butters just behind in that Alpha Tauri. Mogi holding on to that fifth position.
Close to our first sandwich of the evening there.
I'm looking forward to a sandwich here.
We haven't seen a sandwich yet.
No, we haven't, no. But I think one to watch here is going to be Joseph Radl starting from 9th position there, right behind NUFC fan Liam Butler. We could have another DRS train on the go here. We've got 3 DRS zones to play with, Tom, so...
Yes, plenty of fun to happen here. So you've got the long straight, which is just making up sector 3 of its own. You've only got the one hairpin and then that massive long straight. You've then got the start-finish line and then sector 2. Between two of the chicanes there, another DRS zone to keep an eye on. So plenty of action to keep an eye on as we head on down to the grid here as the drivers start to form up at the end. Just a quick word, what are you drinking tonight, Aaron?
King of beers, mate, back on the Budweiser. Couldn't take the risk with the Guinness again.
Fantastic.
So
You've learned.
I've learned my lesson.
We are waiting for these lights to get going. 1, 2, 3, 4, and yes, you guessed it, 5. Lights out and we are away. So Osborne take us down into this first turn. Hopefully again no major incidents as we keep an eye on the field. We'll make sure everyone gets through safely like we always do. I see a little bit of front wing flying there, looks like maybe from a Mercedes, but I didn't see any major incidents. No one turned around, no one facing the wrong way it seems. So we'll keep an eye as they head through this first sector. We have got Albert DeWitt looking hot on the heels there of Osborne as well. Or sorry, I believe that he's on the heels of a Mercedes just while the grid sorts itself out. So we keep an eye on that for you and get all the news as it happens. So yeah, brilliant start there from Albert DeWitt, getting himself up to 4th place, jumping to positions, and he's now right on the heels of James Punt. And again, Mogi looking like he's getting straight in the action there, picking up where he left off on the last race.
Yeah, one to watch here though.
Down into this hairpin.
One to watch, NUFC fan Liam. Before the race, he said he loves Canada, so he's going to be a great one to watch from 6th position here. He's already pulled a position up on Butler and Butters.
Absolutely,
so
yeah, he was I think it's fair to say he was giving it the big one before the race, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do here, and will he be able to live up to those expectations. So lap 1, we are as we started, so Osborne in the lead, followed by Peter, followed by James Punt, coming down to this turn 1, Albert DeWitt making up some ground there, and right on the heels again of the Mercedes of James Punt as they head down into this first chicane. Just need to keep it all together here. We've got NUFC fan Liam making a little move on Mogi there to take 5th position, so fantastic work there from the gent who is so confident around this circuit. As he goes a little bit late on the brakes there, looks like he's damaged his front wing, accidentally hitting Albert DeWitt, so that's going to be a costly mistake it seems if he has taken some damage, and he will need to make some adjustments for that later on in this race if he's going to stay competitive. Also a 3-second time penalty there for Liam.
Oh, it's all gone.
So not been a great second lap. All gone Pete Tong.
Yeah, all gone Pete Tong a little bit there for him, but there's still plenty of time. Lap 2 of 18 here. You know, we'll see what he can do. I mean, he might well want to stay out with that front wing damage there. You never know. I'll be feeling bold.
So on board with Mogi as he gets himself past NUFC fan Liam, heading down into this final chicane of the lap, and gets the move done before that chicane, so no problems there.
Oh, big yellow flag.
Liam, I believe. Big yellow flag, but no safety car it seems. It looks like we've got a Haas driver off the track in sector 2, and there we have the safety car come out. So that looks like it was Simon Jr. who had come off the track and safety car deployed.
And I think
so
Trem
up this race nicely.
Trem may well have been involved in that incident as well. Somewhere along the line, I can just see him quite far off the back end of the pack.
Those two drivers quite far away. So we'll see if he dives into the pits for any. Yes, he does. So that's going to be a damage-related pit stop, I reckon.
Yeah. So, but obviously these guys up the front are still racing until the safety car comes out. Is the safety car there on circuit yet? I don't think it is.
Safety car is just queued up there at the end of turn 2, it seems. So just waiting for them to make their way back round, and obviously for Trem and Simon Jr. to catch up here. So Simon Jr. has to head into the pits as well. You can see heavy front wing damage for the Haas tail. Obviously we didn't see that incident as it happened live, but maybe we'll get a view a bit later on if there is anything to be reported a bit later on tonight. So, just looking at the big movers so far in this race, we've got Wheeler, who's jumped up 6 places into 12th position, looking on the fringe of the points here to try and get himself at least a couple of points. We see Peter diving into the pits, James Hunt in the pits, and a lot of the field now using this opportunity to get their pit stops done and possibly change strategies here. We could see a couple of guys maybe go on the hards and take this all the way to the end. We'll get the tyre option menu up here and see what people go for.
So we see NUFC fan.
A lot of people turning white. Yep.
He's gone straight onto the mediums, but he's equally got that wing repaired. So this has been a bit of a saving grace for his race, I think, to a degree.
Absolutely, yeah. And one thing that a bunch of pit stops has done is massively shake up that order. Osborne obviously not willing to give up his lead, decides to stay out on those soft tyres, doesn't want to give away that first position easily, and Albert DeWitt now finds himself in second place on the medium tyre option from the start there, so again he can extend that stint a bit longer potentially than needed now with this safety car.
Do you know, I really wouldn't be surprised though, Tom, if we see Osborne potentially come in this next lap round, because obviously teammate NUFC fan Liam there had wing damage, so from their perspective on the Constructors' Championship, they're both going to want to have decent finishing points. So could we see him pit this lap round? Obviously NUFC fan Liam had the wing damage, wanted to get in the pits just to stand himself a decent chance. You know, prioritising, do you reckon we might see Osborne come in now?
It looks like, I think he looks fairly confident that he's probably going to stay out. I mean, it's a tough decision to make, especially when you are leading the race and you know you've led from pole. You maybe feel comfortable on those softs. It looks like he is going to stay out because he follows the safety car around that final turn. And I think it is just a case of he's in the lead at the moment. He's going to obviously be not doing too much damage to his tyres at the moment, and he wants to see how far he can take those soft tyres and keep that lead going. So ZGS is one of the guys who second time round does decide to pit and wants to get himself onto some fresher tyres whilst he can minimise the time that he loses in this safety car period. I think we're probably going to see the safety car maybe coming in maybe not this lap, maybe at the end of the next lap. Looks like Simon Jr. still has a fair bit of catching up to do there to get himself to the back of that safety car queue. So we'll wait to see if the safety car will wait for him, or if they will go without Simon Jr. at the back of that queue. So 5 laps in here, almost a third of the race gone, and half of that so far has been under the safety car. Bit of a shame because it was looking like it was a tasty affair. A couple of moves being done early on with Mogi taking a position or two off of NUFC fan Liam, and also who was it? Sorry, Albert DeWitt getting himself up there as well, of course, with a brilliant start.
Great to see a lot of big movers there on the table as well. You look at Wolsey and M. Willis, the 2 Alfa Romeos running 4th and 5th, and racer number 6 up there in that Renault in 7th position, 13 points gained, and we've just seen race control. Safety car is in this lap, so get ready, strap yourselves in.
We're going to ride on board with the leader then for the restart to try and get the best view of any action that does happen here as we head back into this action here at Canada. So guys just trying to hit their tyres up here. It's important you get that right heading into this final chicane, because it can all go wrong, especially when you're trying to put the power down coming out of this chicane. It won't take much to just overcook it and then accidentally spin it into the wall or hit the wall itself on that side. So 5-second penalty there for Albert, a severe collision under the safety car. We'll have to keep an eye on that for a bit later on, as it looks like Osborne has taken a decision to go now as he heads down into this final chicane, and he's given himself a good lead there, it seems.
That was a great restart.
Down into that final move. Great restart. Willis again, another benefactor there, getting himself up to 3rd on the restart. So great work there from the Alfa Romeo, but again yet to stop. All these guys in that sort of 1st to 6th position are yet to stop in this race.
So you'd be...
Look at the guys that have already stopped. You've got Peter, who is technically the race leader at the moment, having been on that stop. Obviously we know the guys in front are going to need to stop at some point, so Peter in the Mercedes is the guy to look out for at the moment.
Yeah, I think net leader is definitely Peter in that Mercedes. He's going to just try and stick with the back of D. Lawson in that pack. And
sorry, I just interrupted. We've got Albert DeWitt making a move here on Osborne, just down into that hairpin turn, and he's going to get the inside line and get that move done before they even come into the turn. So fantastic work there from Albert DeWitt as he now gives himself the lead of this race. Sorry, Aaron, you were saying?
No, I'm just saying, Peter looking quick in that Mercedes around here. It's going to be, net lead for him. I think obviously 0.7 of a second back off of the gearbox of D. Lawson. So from that perspective, he's looking pretty good for his debut week here in the Slydog Racing League, sponsored by Gray's Bespoke. A bit of advertisement there. Do you see how smooth that was?
Well done, Aaron. That was smooth.
Did you see how smooth that was? That was
almost like the smoothest it could have been until you mentioned how smooth it was.
Yeah, exactly.
So never mind, not perfect. Right. So unfortunately we're seeing racer number 6 drop down the order there. He was obviously looking good on that restart, getting himself up to 6th position before the restart, but was unfortunately dropped massively down the order. Looks to be an incident in sector 1 between racer number 6 and Trem potentially, and that looks to be Trem out of the race. So nightmare there for the McLaren team. We can just see on racer number 6 speed Trem just up against the wall there by the DHL sign.
Just checking out Wolsey.
Virtual safety car deployed as well, so again that's going to slow the field right down.
If we just check out Wolsey, he's going to be coming around to the incident now. We can see, yeah, Trem's not moving. I think he's had a bit of rear end damage there, so I think that's unfortunately the end of the race for Trem and the McLaren, which will create a bit of a potential change up in the Constructors' Championship here between the McLarens and the Red Bulls. So Osborne takes this.
Looking at the 2 front runners with this virtual safety car, 2 front runners decide to come in and take their pit stops whilst they can, obviously dropping them right down the order, and that means we now have an Alfa Romeo out front. That's N. Willis now leading this race, but again yet to stop. So again, net leader looking like it's still Peter in the Mercedes. So virtual safety car still deployed. We'll just keep an eye out for when that's going to be coming off due to that incident there in turn 1. So Wolsey with the drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car as well. It's not looking great for him there in that second Alfa Romeo. And it looks like we've just had Peter overtake N. Willis as well on the virtual safety car restart. So the net leader now in second place, looking to see if he can get the move done potentially on Lawson as well, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, Peter's going to be running a lot fresher tyres. I must admit, having practiced this circuit for the past couple of days, I've found that the medium tyres do tend to run a lot better around here. I find that the front left tends to take a little bit of a battering. But I do think that the medium is the better tyre of the two. So, obviously, both guys are on mediums, but Lawson, having been on the mediums for quite some time, another time penalty there for NUFC fan Liam. Unfortunately, I think he's just taken a bit too much of the apex through those chicanes, getting a little bit excited.
Yeah, it's the jinx factor again there, isn't it, for NUFC fan Liam, just bigging himself up for this race, but so far not quite going to plan for the Red Bull driver, sitting in 10th position and with a couple of penalties to his name. A penalty there for Granty Boy as well, 3-second time penalty. It's not something we see very often from the reigning champ there. But yeah, 3-second time penalty as he tries to climb his way through the field.
I would say, going back to what I was saying earlier on, obviously what with Trem's retirement from this session, as we see, Peter has left the session there, so has he had a bit of an issue with connection?
Maybe an issue with connection there, because he's still in the race, so not DNF'd or anything like that. As we've got a great battle there going on between Butters and Butler, and it also looks like Granty Boy getting right in on the action there. Those three cars, literally nothing separating them. So we'll keep an eye on them as they head down this long straight in Sector 3, coming up to that final chicane. Will one be able to get a move done into this chicane? Long train of cars there, Butler, Butters and N. Willis all in on the action. So a ride with the rear view camera of Willis here as we head down into turn 1. Butler looking to send a move down the outside into the Butlers. We've got Peter who's ghosted there, which is just going to confuse things even more. And it looks like Granty Boy in the background trying to get the move done on Butler, which he does get done in the end as well. And we can see Joseph Morales having a right good look at Butler as well.
Oh, another DNF. Back down the field, Simon Jr.
And that is Sector 3, yellow flag. It looks like he is retired in the pits. So no concerns there. I think we'll try and get a look at that. But no, I think that is just a retirement in the pits, potentially, for Simon Jr. So all the action going on at the top of the pack then. So Granty Boy's climbed himself up to 4th position. He's got Butler hot on his heels though as they head round this hairpin turn. We'll keep an eye on the rear wing of Granty Boy to see if Butler can try and get the move done here at this long straight on Sector 3. But it looks like Granty Boy has opened up enough of a gap to save himself there, and looks like he may even be hot on the heels of Butters here, who is again, it's a brilliant train of cars here going around this track, and it seems like there's nothing to separate them at all at the
No,
moment.
but just gonna drop back into what I was saying there a minute ago with the with Trem's DNF situation. Looking at it, Butler in 5th position, NUFC fan in 9th, and unfortunately it seems to have all fallen apart a bit for Osborne, who led this race at the very beginning. So the Red Bull guys won't be making as big a push as they did in Brazil here in Canada.
So we see Granty Boy just take the position there from Butters, and also he's lost the position out to Butler as well. So that's a double loss there for Butters in the AlphaTauri, as we now see the McLaren driver put himself into 4th position. Just looking at obviously the top order there, we've got Lawson and Willis yet to stop. So currently your top two are Granty Boy and Butler heading into these closing stages here at Canada. N. Willis looking like he's really struggling now to give himself any sort of distance. Possibly needs to get in and get off those medium tyres as soon as possible if he's going to get a chance at some points here for the guys in the Alfa Romeo team. As I say that, he heads straight into the pits, as does the race leader Lawson. So we will then be on equal ground, and Granty Boy finds himself at the pack again.
He does indeed, but I want to just give another shout out to B. Wheeler, who has already made his stop. He's right on hot on the heels of Mogi, and involved in that train, up 12 positions from the start. What a drive!
Looking like a fantastic Delta driver of the day there for the Renault driver as we follow him through this twisted turn in Sector 1 here. He's got NUFC fan Liam right on his heels there as well. So does have to do a bit of defending here, can't just be looking ahead, otherwise he may find himself losing that position. But so far, a fantastic bit of work there from the Renault driver. We've got Joseph Morales having a very good look at Butters as well. Wheel to wheel, not wheel to sorry, nose to rear action there from the Ferrari and the AlphaTauri as he heads down into this hairpin. Will he try and go late on the brakes? Looks like he's having a good look around the outside, but that's going to cost him though because, oh no, he's just going to hold on to that position. Looks like Mogi might try and sneak in there and take the full position away from Joseph Morales. As we head down this back straight, Joseph Morales does seem to get the move done over Butters with the DRS assistance.
He does, yeah. I think
looks like Mogi is going to have a little look as well, it seems, but too far off to get the move done.
I think Joseph Morales done really, really well there, diving late into that hairpin, getting the power down nice and early, and just getting a solid drive out there. Already catching on Butters before the DRS zone, so obviously, good, yeah, really good move.
Pretty good move. Just looking at the penalties at the top of the order then, so Butters currently with 15 seconds, going to be dropping down the order quite drastically with that mistake there. There's an incident in Sector 1, yellow flag, looks like someone off the track. I think that's going to be either ZGS, who's just dropping down there, or potentially Willis.
I think it's...
Drop down and rejoin the track there.
I think it was ZGS, Tom. I'm just having a quick look through it at the moment, and yeah, I think it was ZGS, so unfortunately, bit of a poorer race for him. ZGS usually, relatively quick in that Ferrari, so he's had a unfortunate evening.
Yeah, shame for the Ferrari guys, but I say Ferrari guys, Joseph Morales still pulling off a brilliant race at the moment, obviously trying to take that second from Brazil and maybe expand on it here with another podium in Canada. Granted, Boy Butler is making up those podium positions at the moment. NUFC fan Liam does eventually get the move done on Wheeler, so it was almost looked like a matter of time. He was right on the heels of the Renault, but still a fantastic effort from Wheeler so far to find himself where he does at the moment in this race, considering from where he started.
Yeah,
NUFC fan Liam still got time to make up for the fact that he said this was his best race, and he looks to be struggling a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, once again, he's still in DRS zone on Mogi, so it'll be interesting to see how that all works out. It's going to be a bit of a DRS train, which is going to make it a little bit tight, but there's still time left. So that 14 of 18.
Absolutely, 4 laps to go here, and still plenty of action to be had here, and plenty of positions to be decided as we head into this final part of this race. You see NUFC fan Liam getting a good look at the Williams of Mogi there around that hairpin. We'll see if he can get the exit he needs to try and make a move on him down this back straight, but I think that gap is going to be too big. And again, it's just this DRS train, everyone cancelling each other out.
Exactly, yeah.
No one can seem to get the gap.
Move behind though, James Punt diving up the inside of Wheeler there.
Oh, a little bit of contact there from Wheeler's front right, but it looks like no one's hurt from that, and James Punt does get the move done on Wheeler. So Wheeler starting to fall back in the positions here. Needs to try and hold it together to keep in that points position there in 8th place currently, but has 2 quick drivers in Osborne and Albert DeWitt hot on his heels, and we can see Osborne now again having a very good lick at the back of Wheeler. Will he try and make a move round here? Not on this turn, but we do have a DRS zone coming up as James Punt sends it a little bit wide into that turn there. Opens the door for Wheeler coming down this second DRS zone. Almost 4 wide there at one point between these 4 cars. A fantastic bit of racing here. Wheeler has to cut the corner in the end and go down the safety road, and that's going to cost him dearly as he now finds himself in 10th position. Albert DeWitt pulling out to the outside there of Osborne, trying to see if he can get the move around the outside of the hairpin. Can he stick it around that corner? Yes, he can. Does get a brilliant exit there on those soft tyres. And Albert DeWitt now finds himself into 8th place. So brilliant passage of racing there. We're not done as Osborne is coming back with the DRS down that main straight, back straight, and takes the position back from Albert DeWitt. So fantastic stuff here towards the end of this race.
And there's
Butters has been disqualified due to multiple penalties, and it looks like there's even more DNS with ZTS now DNFing as well, and Peter having left the session. So I'm not too sure what was going on there, but obviously too much interesting stuff going on behind them. In all honesty,
yeah, we've got yellow.
Very much. Go on.
Sorry, we've got yellow flags out sector 1 there. I think that was just unfortunate. I think it was probably a connection issue for Peter, but ZGS, I don't quite know if he had an issue there towards the end, but I think he's just called it a day in Canada.
So 2 laps to go here. We've got Joseph Morados, who is now hot on the heels of Butler. He's closed that gap up, trying to hunt down another second place finish here with 2 laps to go. We've then also got Mogi and NUFC fan Liam having a great battle here. Only 0.3 of a second separating those guys at the moment. Will we see some late action here from the 2 drivers? NUFC fan Liam trying to salvage a race here. He's done well so far as he makes the move on the inside line into that chicane. Mogi has to cut the corner in the end, but he does stay ahead of him at the moment. They're wheel to wheel, or going to be wheel to wheel, heading down to this first turn. Who's going to... sorry, NUFC fan Liam had the DRS there, so he does get the move done in the end. So fantastic work there from the Red Bull driver to get that move done. And we see Osborne get ahead of James Punt as well, a bit further back down that main straight. So 2 moves in the right order there, in the right way, sorry, for the Red Bull drivers. Very important to get those moves done at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are going really well. But just looking at the penalties, NUFC fan Liam sitting on 12 seconds worth of penalties there as we hit lap 17. So unfortunately, I think that's going to drop him down to around 11th position.
Yep. Needs to keep an eye on that, obviously, towards the end of this race when we get that final order come in. Looks like there's been a bit of an incident there for James Punt in sector 2. We'll try and ride on board of him. He's got himself back on the track. He had stopped momentarily there and now finds himself down in 11th position and out of the points. So with his Mercedes teammate already out of the points, and we can see, sorry, it was race number 6 there spinning around in front of James Punt. But we can see, obviously, James Punt pulling himself out of the points there. Not great news for the Mercedes team when it comes to the Constructors' Championship.
And looking bad to worse there, sorry. Oh, sorry, just going bad to worse there in P12 for Rockstar. Unfortunately, he had such a great start in Brazil, and now it's all seemingly fallen apart here in Canada. He's just taken on some front wing damage, so no doubt we'll see him dive into the pits and get that changed at some point. Oh no, maybe not, it's lap 18, so if I were him, I'd be sticking out.
Final lap here, just looking at the top of the order, it almost looks to be decided. There's a bit of a battle going on between Joseph Morados and Butler. We'll keep an eye on these guys as they make their way around the final part of this final lap here to see if anything can be done, but I think the gap is just that too big for Joseph Morados to close up with the turns he has left. He is very close to Butler there on that final turn, but again, it's going to be close actually. He's going to have the DRS down here, so we'll stay on board with Butler and watch his rear wing as he comes down here. Joseph Morados gaining very quickly. He's going to be taking the inside line coming into this turn. Joseph Morados looks to get the job done on the
what a move!
Of the lap. Fantastic work there from the Ferrari driver, and personally a well-deserved second position, but he does lose it because of penalties. After all of that building up, he gets it done on the track, but Butler will take second place due to penalties as we see the drivers cross the line. NUFC fan Liam finds himself back down in 7th with his penalties as well. But the podium positions remain the top 3 as we saw them cross the line in terms of top 3 there. Granty Boy, Butler and Joseph Morados making up the podium positions. A good race there from Mogi as well, so consistent tonight. Very unlucky in Brazil not to get a podium, and again finishes 4th here. So very, very close stuff there for the Williams driver.
Yeah, I mean he's been quite consistent as well. I mean he was relatively consistent in Monaco too, so he's been looking really, really good. As it says on the game there, Tom, driver of the day has just flashed up on my screen. B Wheeler has come up.
I mean, you were hyping up B Wheeler a fair bit there. I mean, towards the end of the race, he seemed to drop a few positions. I'm interested to see the full overall picture in a second once we get it on our screen to see who started where. And
yeah, I think he's still. I think even with the couple of positions he lost just at the end there from a bit of pressure, I think he's still gained about 10 positions there. So once again, I think, in my opinion, from that race, it's a toss-up now between him and Joseph Morados. Purely basing.
I think, just from what we've seen as well, Joseph Morados pulling off some cracking racecraft
into the hairpin and into the final chicane as well. So it's a tough one. I'm going to let you take the call, Tom.
Yeah, this is a tough one, but I think just for his performances in both races tonight, I think I'm going to give it to Joseph Morados. I think it was a brave move at the end there. He obviously had the penalty, knew he was going to be moving back down to third position in the race, but decided to go ahead with the move there in the final lap on Butler and got it done. And it was just a brilliant bit of racing. And for that reason, I think that deserves driver of the day. He had to close up that gap as well to get that move done, and did so tremendously. A shout out to Wheeler though, because he did have a cracking race there. I just thought that he when you look at it, they've roughly gained sort of a similar amount of positions, 18th to 8th, and then 9th to 3rd. Okay, maybe the maths is a little bit off there. But personally, I think Murados was the driver of the day there, and I'm happy to award that to him. Fantastic evening to the Ferrari driver.
Yeah, I completely agree, mate. I absolutely agree. I think he's had a great week of racing here. Both races looking absolutely strong as anything. So really impressive.
Yeah, fantastic stuff there. So another entertaining evening of racing there. Fantastic stuff. We'll have plenty to digest and put together in the highlights videos coming up over the next few days, and plenty to look forward to as well with the final race of the season, final race day of the season, I should say, with Abu Dhabi and Bahrain short coming up next week. So fantastic stuff there.
Yeah, I mean
do you have any post-race interviews this week?
Well, I'm just going to try and have a little look and see if I can get hold of Joseph Murados. I'm not too sure if I will or not. So you're just going to have to bear with me for just a minute or so.
We can talk shit for a minute. We're pretty good at that.
Exactly. In the meantime, actually, we're talking about talking shit. Right. That after the deodorant I sent you earlier on. What an interesting combination.
Yeah, was it leather and cookies?
Leather and cookies. I can confirm it smells nothing like leather and cookies, really. I'm not going to lie.
It's just not a combination, is it? That's just two separate things that have been chucked together in a Winx can.
It's not your everyday, is it? No, it's really not your everyday. I mean,
it's no mango and passion fruit. It's no salt and vinegar. Leather and cookies. I mean, it's two drastically different things. It's very weird to think of someone wearing leather eating a cookie.
Yeah, the best way I can describe it is, like I said, very supple leather, almost like the type you'd find in some form of Italian workshop. You said Ferrari-esque when I said that to you, but I'd go more Fiat.
Yeah, it's definitely the lower end of the Italian.
Yeah.
We should point out this is in relation to a can of Lynx that Aaron sent me earlier a picture of. Leather and cookie flavoured Lynx.
It's just, it doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right when you say it.
Make of that what you will.
Yeah.
The fact that he's still using Lynx as a grown man is quite astonishing to me.
Mate, it was the intrigue. It was the intrigue that caught me, and that leather and cookies, it sucked me in.
Never mind, Dave. How are we doing on getting these drivers for a post-chat interview? Is that not going to happen?
It's happening, mate. Don't you worry about that. We're on it.
It's happening. We're on it. Fantastic stuff. So, just taking a look at the championship standings then. So, obviously, we saw a bit of a disaster for James Punt at the end there. But that does spell some good news for the McLaren boys. Obviously, Butler picking up two great results here tonight from the McLaren guys. And the Red Bull drivers with this top performance as well. We could see really start to close that gap on the Mercedes drivers there. So not the best evening if you are a Mercedes fan. So interesting to see where we go into next week with these three teams. Still plenty to play for the podium positions in that Constructors' Championship. And also we've got Liam and Albert DeWitt fighting it out for third /second in the Drivers' Championship as well. Some brilliant racing between them guys tonight also.
Yeah, I mean, it's been two really, really good races, so I think it's going to lend itself. There's going to be some championship movement. It's going to lend itself to a really exciting week next week for the finale in Abu Dhabi and Bahrain Short. Just a quick mention again, obviously we've got on the 1st of March an interleague race with MRS Racing League, so that will be quite exciting, starting at the earlier time of 8 p.m. We'll be able to see 10 Slydog drivers take on 10 of MRS League drivers I believe they'll be in matching liveries, else that's going to be a real tough one to commentate, isn't it, Tom? But, we'll be there, we'll be live, we'll be keeping up to date with all of that action, so that'll be very exciting. And then in between there, I think we're also going to be having, like we said earlier, that media day as such, where we're going to be announcing all the new driver pairings and teams for the next season, which, looking at it at the moment, could be quite interesting. I think we've got the top 10 drivers paired up with the bottom 10 drivers just to try and even the field out a little tiny bit. So, it'll be quite exciting to see exactly, which teams are moving around a little bit. We'll get up to date with all of that action, I'm sure. I think we're going to be joined by Trem for that, so that should be quite exciting. Yet to know how we're going to do that. We're still figuring that out, but we shall see.
Absolutely. So yeah, fully looking forward to that, and looks like it's going to be an interesting turn of events there when it comes to picking those new teams. As you say, trying to mix up the field and pair up not the weaker drivers, but the drivers who are lower in the championship standings with the guys who are leading the way. They're definitely going to even the field out, I feel, when it comes to that Constructors' Championship.
Yeah.
How are we doing on getting some
Well,
to speak to us,
I
Aaron?
don't think Joseph not wants to. I just don't know if he's seen my message or seen the invite yet. I don't even know if he's still online as such. So I don't think we're going to get involved. Although, however, we do have Osborne joining us from the Red Bull. So how do you think that round went?
Fantastic.
Obviously, I started in pole round Canada. Safety car come out. I should have gone in, I think. I was sort of banking on a second safety car.
Yeah, we discussed this in commentary. Obviously, unfortunately, I think it was your teammate there, NUFC family, and picked up a bit of wing damage. So he dived straight into the pit lane, which obviously then would have not allowed you to get in there at the same time. We did wonder whether you would come in on the second lap of the safety car, but you stayed out. So
yeah, like I say, I was trying to. Well, I was praying for a second safety car, if I'm honest. I think I had the pace on the softs. I think the boys in third and fourth were on the medium. So the plan was sort of get a bit of a gap from them. And then, a second safety car would have just let me come into those pits. And
unfortunately, I think the safety car gods only gifted you with a virtual. So unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough. I think for you guys then, you're closing on the McLaren boys. That last race, you would have gained a few points on them. Obviously, in Brazil, you would have gained a few on them. But what about Butler? He's a real challenger, I think.
Yeah, 2 weeks, 2 podiums. So he showed he's got the pace. So yeah, that's going to be exciting. Because I don't think Mercedes had a very good week this week. So
no, I think
the point situation is.
Points, going into the last round, it's going to get tight. I think obviously you guys and McLaren are relatively close. Less than 40 points separate you guys, and less than looking at this table here, about 50 odd points I think between you guys and Mercedes. So after this weekend, obviously we'll see that come down somewhat. So I say weekend, it's a Monday. Why am I saying that?
Leaving us on there, Aaron.
I'm getting excited. but there we go. So there we have it. You guys have. How would you rate that in your experience as this season goes? Was that a relatively good week for you guys, or would you say could have been a little bit better? Did Liam big himself up a bit too much before Canada?
Yeah, I think he had a bit of a mare around there, didn't he? He was saying on the party chat to me that he couldn't disable his ERS, so he was getting to the straights at the end of the lap, and he had no ERS left. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, whether he's got a button stuck or.
Oh, that's real. Yeah, I was gonna say that's unfortunate. The only other,
damage as well.
The real unfortunate thing I think was Brazil as well. I don't know if you managed to see it or if you were in the party. Does Butler go in the party chat with you guys during the race, or is he sort of on his own?
Me and Liam just have our own one during the race.
Oh, okay.
can't concentrate too many in there. I get too involved.
I don't know if you guys saw it, but it looks to us in commentary like, unfortunately for Butler, last lap, last corner of Brazil, he just hit low fuel mode and just all of a sudden dropped right off.
That's what Mitchell said. He just said, "Oh, I've been third. Butler's run out of fuel." Like, oh, how close am I to him? Yeah. No, that sort of helped him get in third place. He's been getting podiums all season near enough. Or if he's not been getting podiums, he's been there or thereabouts. So yeah, Canada was a big disappointment for him. He's gone offline. He's not best pleased. I can't blame him really.
Oh, bless him. I mean, what's he? You know, what are you guys thinking about Abu Dhabi and Bahrain short? You know, season finale next week. You know, you've got to make that one count. So, you know, how are you guys faring up to those two circuits?
Yeah, not well. Bahrain short. I think I've only driven it once. So yeah, obviously I'm going to need to sort of get a setup together for that one. Sort of put a little bit of time into it because it could be the difference. You know, coming 10th, coming 5th. That could be the difference of getting second or third in the constructors potentially. So Abu Dhabi, it's not one of my strongest tracks, but yeah, we'll have a play about with the setups this week and yeah, sort of prepare for that and see how we go.
Well, there we go. All the best then for the season finale. Obviously, we'll see you next Monday there, and obviously at that point we'll have an updated constructors and drivers championship. But thank you ever so much, Osborne, for joining us tonight. You know, it's been great to have you here. No
worries. Thanks for having me.
No worries. We'll obviously clip and post all of the highlights. I believe, Tom, you're in control of highlights. I think I've got interviews
I'm on it.
Covered just about. Before we go though, Tom, I just want to read obviously on the Discord drivers chat a couple of reports that have come out following tonight. So
Not me, is it?
no, it's not. No, you're safe. It's Trem's put his reports in quite early. He's reporting Joseph Morados in lap 1 on Canada, flying up his inside on the apex. I think that must have been the wing that you said in commentary, Tom.
I saw a wing go flying.
You did.
Didn't see who or what or why, but maybe we'll get a little look at that video in a bit and see what the dealio was.
Yep, and the second report on there is Trem just reporting race number 6, lap 7. He did apologise, but he still needs to report it as I think race number 6 completely wiped Trem out, and obviously following that DNF'd. The only other report on there is Mogi from Brazil, reporting Butler for that moment they had going into turn 1, causing Mogi all the heartbreak of dropping back a few places there, as we saw in race 1.
I love this gossip edition out on YouTube, man.
Well, it's great. It's great. You know, I've got to keep people up to date with all the reports. It just saves us a job next week for the finale, so we can chat shit for a little bit longer.
Yeah, enjoy chatting shit.
So before we go, Tom, is there any more innuendos you want to sling about Liam? Because I think we've exhausted a few after today's Discord chats, so I think that's there or thereabouts. But anyway, we'd like to.
His sex life has finished.
I've got some more stories about him if you want.
Well, maybe we'll catch up with you for the season finale, and we can make a completely separate video all about that.
Oh, you're going to need a separate one for what I've
got. Well, right.
Cracking stuff. Right, I think that's going to do it for us then. So thank you very much if you have been watching this entire time. Again, as always, reevaluate your life if you have been watching this entire time. But fantastic stuff. Really enjoyed commentating on this couple of races, guys. Looking forward to next week already, and we will see you then. Take care now.
Take care.